Hi, Zizaran here with another video, and in this video I'm going to cover how to generate a lot of raw currency and just talk a little bit about farming tips and tricks. And a lot of this is going to be coming from all my experience on solo self-found, where we aren't always able to get a bunch of divines from selling things to other players. You can't sell boss carries and stuff like that to make money. And right now, a lot of people are struggling on simply just getting raw divines. So I feel like a lot of those tricks will be applicable to people in Trade League. GDD did just post a note that they said they were looking at making the mechanic more rewarding. Hopefully that'll solve some of the issues people are having with not getting enough divines. But I feel like it's not going to hurt to give you guys some tips and tricks on how to get a little bit extra juice, a little bit extra currency this season. So Legion is surprisingly good at making currency and kind of often forgotten about from a currency point of view. And I didn't even think about it until a guy in my chat who had 40 hours played. He also had like 40 divines or 35 divines or something on his pilfering ring. And that's a lot more than me. I have 4. And I'd played more. I have like nearly 4 days played, and I have 3 or 4 raw divines. So like the content I'm doing doesn't really give a lot of raw divines. I'm getting most of mine from trading. So I haven't needed to do a lot of the things that I normally would do in solo self-found. But honestly, Legion, just especially if you have a good blasty build, you really want something with like screen clear and you're able to handle it. You don't necessarily need to be handled the 4 and 5-way Legion runners, like with maybe a headhunter build. Like that's not necessary for this to be profitable. Just being able to like farm the Legion monoliths in maps, it's going to be really profitable. And then you want to have that on like something else that's sort of not going to interrupt your clear speed too much. So like bestiary can be really nice. Like I wouldn't pair this with something like ritual, for example. Essences, if you're built strong enough to handle tier 16 essences. But bestiary is a pretty good one because it is okay without any scarabs. And you're going to be using Legion scarabs ideally. Obviously you have the guaranteed general, additional sergeants, and then you can get a bunch of extra Legion encounters, and just spamming those. Like they will take up the majority of your resources. But even if you're not like doing the scarabs, you just fucking go, then you will get a lot more divines than what I'm currently doing, which is like tier 16s and 17s. So definitely consider Legion. And again, you do want to make sure you have a build for it. Explosions, which are pretty good to get this league, are a big part of that. So like Righteous Fire, Kinetic Blast, anything that can really get like a chaining reaction build. Heist has been buffed and changed a lot this season, and it does drop a surprising amount of divines. Now, you do have the jackpot outcomes like simplex amulets and things like that, but just raw divines is really good in here as well. And there are a lot of uniques to look out for, like replica Alberons, the boots for strength stacking, and several others. So keep an eye out for that. But heist can be extremely profitable. Generally, what you want to do is you want to have like reduced alert. And on your, I don't think I have any, but if you have chance to duplicate currency, that is extremely good for all the currency tests if you're looting any, but also stacked deck counts as currency. So you're just getting an insane amount of stacked decks. And the later it goes in the league, what a lot of people do is they buy up a bunch of stacked decks to try to gamble before quitting the league to see, oh, will I get a mage blood before I quit and maybe play an extra week or two. So that always like stacked deck selling always ends up being very just like good for raw currency. And like I said, heist just drops a lot of raw currency in general. You do also have other things that are very easily tradable, like catalysts as well. Now, Sanctum has been nerfed, but it is still, in my opinion, incredibly good. The way you want to do Sanctum is you want to get, there's a few ways. You could either have duplicate relics dropped, so they're getting more unique relics, and then you're farming for the original Sin relic. That is very rare, but the really nice thing and what makes it so profitable is that tomes are 1C. So whether you're starting out on a new character and you do low level tomes, or you're doing the 83 tomes, there are 1 chaos each. This is literally raw, pure profit. You literally will never ever lose money. So do like, either like Penance Brand, a Hex Blast build, something where you're comfortable doing Sanctum. And obviously, I know a lot of my viewers struggle with Sanctum. It is incredibly like a skill-based mechanic that not everybody likes. But this is literally just like free money. And the more you do it, the faster you're gonna get. And whenever you're getting to like 3 to 5 per hour, and you've actually gotten relics with like show additional rooms, or another thing that people like to do is that the merchant shows additional options so that you can, buy the full room, you can buy duplicate currency. Another trick, and obviously I can't do like a full Sanctum video right now, but there are relics that you can get that double the reward at the end. Yes, you have this one. You have Aura Divinity, duplicates 2 random offer, and again, then if you only have 2, whether it's 2 divines or 4 divines, they'll get doubled. Then you have the Gilded Chalice. So I remember before before the Sanctum nerf, I remember that I had 8 divines, so I got 16 divines because that was the only thing that I was getting. So I got 16 divines from one run. And again, Sanctum has been nerfed, but because it is nerfed, not a lot of people are running it. Tomes are free. It's just pure currency per run. You cannot lose. And finally, let's talk a little bit about King's March. King's March is a huge gold sink, and it is still a decent amount of divines, though. I have been doing 30,000 dust and 10,000 blue Xanthium. If you do have a lot of dust, you can do more. But this, I've been getting very consistent divines with. Most of my divines, aside from like boss carrying, is from these. Obviously, like the mappers are quite nice as well. I'm usually running those. It's hard to run both. It's very gold intensive. What's been working really well for me is get a group of 6 people. I don't know how it is on softcore, but on hardcore, a lot of us are running gold rotations. So you grab 4 Oil Flame of the Gilded, and then you run Betrayal Scarab of the Oil Flame or Bloodlines, and then you do a like 30% pack size 16.5 map. And you're getting 1.2 million gold in 6 maps. So that's how I've been sustaining my gold. Other good ways to get gold, like Harbinger has been pretty decent gold. Iced is really decent gold. And just blasting tier 17s. And another thing that can be really helpful too is use either PO Exchange or Wealthy Exile, whatever. Basically, these like access your stash and everything that's in your stash, and they give you an idea of I don't know how good they are for hardcore, to be fair. Because you see here, go to like grid listings. Very few players are in hardcore. So I don't know how accurate they are in hardcore, but in softcore they should be very accurate. And they'll give you like an idea of what you have that you might have forgotten, whether it's fusings and things like that, or scarabs, and what they're actually worth. Keep an eye on those. They can really help you. Like here, I have 2.6D in Harvest Scarab of doubling. It's very easy to feel overwhelmed by your scarab stash. I bet you there's a lot of new players watching that just have like 10D in random scarabs, but they don't know which ones are worth selling. So look at that as well. So obviously there are a lot of different ways to make currency in the game. I know a lot of people are struggling, so I wanted to just make this quick video with some tips and tricks. Maybe it's time to make another efficiency video, but I'll mention about the blocking nodes. You very rarely see me use those, and there are actually reasons to use those now. There are some encounters where when you're really blasting one mechanic, let's say you're farming Legion, but something else spawns like Ritual, then maybe that would block one of your Legions. So obviously, like when you're really, really juicing, the blocking mechanics can be incredibly good. But and also when you're targeting scarabs and you really want to make sure you're getting the super valuable scarabs. Both those instances, blocking is good. But I do want to point out a thing that a lot of my viewers are doing, and I really want to bring this up because a lot of people said they just hearing me talk about it changed their mentality on this, and it made a big difference to how much currency they have. So I'll try to explain. Don't do league mechanics that you aren't invested into. If you see a ritual altar and you don't have the ritual points, don't do it. You are literally losing currency per hour. It's very, very easy to get into this mentality of, well, it's there, it's free money, it's already in my map, why wouldn't I do it? But the best example I can give you, and before actually, if you're having fun, nothing wrong with it. This is just like how to make more currency per hour. But I gotta remember, like the maps that we're getting is pretty much infinite. So the best example would be, let's say you're essence farming, right? Essence farming is generally done with like tier 6 maps. You're blasting through the maps, And I'm going to pull random numbers out of my ass just to like drive home the example. But let's say that with like pretty optimal essence farming, you're getting 100 or 200 deafening essences per hour, right? Because all you're doing in the map is you're running in, killing the essences, leaving. You're getting a lot of deafening essences per hour, 200, really great. You're very happy. But then you start doing the rituals that appear. You don't actually have any points in rituals, but you start doing them. Well, now instead of 200 deafening essences per hour, you are getting 40. You're getting 40 deafening essences per hour, but maybe you're getting some like random things from ritual. You're not maybe like hitting anything. Ritual is a very jackpotty mechanic, but it really is that extreme. So my biggest advice to people is focus on one mechanic. Do one thing, do it well. Don't do like random ass mechanics. It's a bit different at League Start. At League Start, sure, I'll probably do a Legion. Like, I don't have all the map sustain nodes. Like, if I see a Legion spawn, I'll do it. But if you start valuing your time a little bit more and focusing on one mechanic, it can be an absolute game changer. And I'm not saying you have to block them, but leave that ritual alone or leave that harvest alone if you don't have points in it. Like, you'll very, very rarely see me do an actual mechanic without having points in it. The main exception to that will be if I'm doing something like Toxic Sewers or a core map and I see a Blight, I will click it because if that says 6 and 6 and just 2 pumps, that is going to spawn 6 Blight rewards. So that I would do. But Blight is pretty much the only exception to mechanic that I will actively do, or at least look at, without having points invested in it. So I hope this helps. Again, literally do whatever makes you have the most fun. That is the bottom line of gaming. If something sounds tedious to you, don't do it. Nothing else matters. Fun is core and paramount. But I know a lot of people are struggling with currency, and that's not fun either. But either way, thanks so much for watching. I hope these tips help you. And sub if you liked the video, but more importantly, try to die less than I do.